Hey, thanks for watching Four Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and I'm just trying to do a follow up. Yesterday's video was really well received, or I should say, my last video was very well received, and especially concerning the characters Sad Sack and Raj 2000. Sad Sack created by George Baker, Raj 2000 created by John Byrne, and I wanted to talk about background on those because there was great feedback from people who commented on the video. And this was True Comics number 55. That was had the first, and again, I want to make the point that I should have made in the video, the first comic book appearance of Sad Sack by George Baker. A few years after Baker had actually had Sad Sack published, beginning with the first issue of Yank magazine in 1942. Now, I had said in the comments yesterday on my last video that I have an issue of Yank magazine. I got confused. I don't have any of the Yank magazines. I have this. This is what was in my mind that I was getting mixed up. I have this issue of Yankee Comics, digest size, number 4, and actually a Harry Chesler production. Okay, but I have this issue of Yankee Comics. It's not. It doesn't have. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's a military book, themed book in some things, but I think it was for the general population. This one I'm honestly not sure about. There is lots of there are several military strips on here, as well as the military cover, but no Sad Sack. So this is where I was getting mixed up. I don't have any Yank magazine issues. I did know that is where Sad Sack started. And actually, for those who may not know, George Baker, before he ever drew any Sad Sack, before he ever went to the military, he actually worked for 4 years for Walt Disney Company, and worked on several of their classic movies, classic animations at the time. But then he was inducted into the Army, I believe it was in 1941, and when Yank magazine started up, he was invited to come be a part of that. But that and lots of other information is actually available in this book that I referenced in the comments yesterday as well. And this is Sad Sack, his biography in 115 cartoons from the pages of Yank magazine by Sergeant George Baker. And so, great book. If you can get this, is available on eBay, for anywhere from $10 to $30, $35. Just depending on what condition you want. You can see my dust jacket is shredded, but it's still there, okay? And so, anyway, it's a great book, fun book, and it has a little bit of the history of the strip. So, Sad Sack, first, of course, again, began in Yank magazine, which was just a military magazine, then went to newspaper strips, newspaper comics, but then the first comic book appearance, as stated yesterday, True Comics number 55, is where he first had his comic book debut. So thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the clarification on some of that stuff. And then the next one was E-Man number 6, which was the first appearance of Raj 2000, John Byrne's Raj 2000. And it was again pointed out, and again, I should have been more clear. The first comic book appearance of Raj 2000. Somebody again rightly brought up, I think the two of the main commentators or commenters who were bringing this up was Silver Knight Kyle and let's see, who was the other one? Silver Knight Kyle and Anthony Perdue. And so I appreciate you two guys for your input. I always like being checked on my comic book history because it ends up being if you take ego out of it, it ends up being an educational experience. All right, but again, E-Man number 6 was Raj 2000's first professional comic book appearance, but he did have amateur appearances, I believe, beginning in CPL number 7. Now, this is number 8. CPL standing for Contemporary Pictorial Literature. This was the Charlton Comics fanzine. And you have a lot of great artists who have become great comic artists who were fans working in these publications right here. In fact, on the back of number 8, you have, Raj 2000 there playing mailman. And I believe he's actually he's either delivering there to John Byrne or Joe Staten. I'm not sure who that caricature is supposed to be of. but imagine burn is what I'm thinking. But anyway, you did have many appearances of Rog 2000, just blurbs, beginning in again in CPL number 7. By the way, I think it's been a while since I've done since I did it, but I did a video with my only 2 issues of CPL. Just a real fun magazine and lots of good stuff. But what I have here is CPL number 11 with a wonderful flying saucer, or not saucer shaped exactly, but alien ship visitation cover by Alex Toth. Okay, and so great stuff there. This number 11 is the first story featuring Rog 2000, which I understand actually continues into E-Man number 6. But the first story appearing in this amateur magazine of Rog 2000 is right here in issue number 11. Okay, so anyway, great stuff to have there, and just great. Lots of fun to look at these early books and know the history of some of these characters. But anyway, appreciate you guys keeping me sharp. And while those 2 comics I showed, they were the first comic book appearances of those characters. They weren't the first appearances of those characters. You're absolutely right, and thank you for pointing that out, because it helps to keep our comics community educated as well. And anyway, this is just part of the fun of our YouTube comics community. I appreciate you guys very much. Appreciate you subscribing. And again, if you saw this video and it makes you curious about what we were talking about, go back and look at the last video. If you enjoy it, like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.